The lady has one of the most interesting and mysterious stories in the Little Nightmares universe. There are so many elements to her story that every time you find out more about her, it creates another question, needing an answer. And of course, thanks to Six, we probably won't ever know what her story was going to lead to. But what if I told you that Little Nightmares 3 actually could help us with this? And just what if this helps us understand how we might see Six in Little Nightmares 3? Hello everyone, my name is This Just Jordan and welcome to another Little Nightmares Theory video. Just a quick spoiler warning, just in case you haven't played any of the games and you are new to the franchise. Be warned, this video is going to contain a lot of spoilers to say the least. And also, before we get into this video, did you know that Little Nightmares now has its own official Discord server? I'm going to drop a link below if you want to go check it out. Of course, it's got all the Little Nightmares goodness in there. You may see a few familiar faces within the community. And of course, you'll see myself in there. But not just as a member, I'm also part of the moderation team, which is really cool. But if that intrigues you and you are on Discord, then there you go. There's the server there, officially waiting for you. But anyway, with that said, if you enjoy Little Nightmares 3 and you like these kind of theory videos, make sure you hit subscribe because, of course, we're going to be doing lots of theories coming in the future, especially with Little Nightmares 3 and the comics and the books. So again, hit subscribe if you're interested in that. Anyway, with Little Nightmares 3 coming up and all the little teasers we've seen, one of the things that is consistent in Little Nightmares, whether you're playing 1, 2, Very Little Nightmares, or reading the comics, new and old, is the mirrors. Now, mirrors are a big part of Little Nightmares 3, especially with Lo being able to go through the mirrors. Now, while I wish I had Little Nightmares 3 right now so I could dive straight into it and uncover the secrets it has to offer, I don't have it yet. One of the biggest mysteries in Little Nightmares when we first played it is the constant broken mirrors. We all wondered why. I think that video was like 4 minutes. That's just how much content we didn't have back then. But most people thought the same and thought it was something to do with the lady and her vanity. But what if I told you that's not 100% the case anymore? When the Little Nightmares 2017 comics came out, it pretty much revealed why we should all be scared of the mirrors, and not only on the moor, but in the nowhere in general. Not only did the comics give us the North Wind and the Ferryman, it also gave us our first ever real look at the Mirrorman. We were introduced to the Mirrorman through a damning tale from the Humpback Girl's perspective. She recalls her tale of how she got into the nowhere and what had happened between her and her friends in the mansion, where issue 2 takes place. As we know, that Six brings a music box back to the campfire where all the children sat around, looking to share it with them, but the Humpback Girl destroys it upon seeing a mirror within the box, and thus the story is told. Without recapping the whole comic, all you need to know is that the Humpback Girl and her friends took it upon themselves to visit an abandoned mansion, littered with covered mirrors and dusty furniture. While there, they encounter the Mirrorman and have to fight to stay alive after being contorted and shaped by the illusions that the Mirrorman provides. The children managed to escape, while the Humpback Girl wasn't so lucky, hence the name. The encounter left her distorted and affected by what she had seen, and she was left in a pit of despair. Her friends planned to save her, but from the look of things, they never returned, and this is where the Ferryman takes her to the moor. One thing that I've always found interesting here is that this all takes place in the counties and not in the nowhere itself, unless the mansion itself bleeds into the world like a trap laid out by the Mirrorman. Also, it seems that the Humpback Girl has a sense of aistroptophobia, which in short is a phobia of mirrors or one's self-image. This is why, as a result of the Humpback Girl looking into the mirror, she becomes what she fears most, a distorted, misshaped monster. This is why she's covered. The real horror is in your imagination of how she may look. It also explains why her friends have the same response and then cover her up in the comic. But what does it all mean? Well, it means that the Mirror Man is a lot more dangerous than you think, and you should know this for Little Nightmares 3. Sure, most of the residents can hurt you in the nowhere, and probably will do. Actually, scratch that, they will do, though by different means. But all the Mirror Man needs is for you to lay your eyes on his mirrors, and that's it. He can tap into your deepest insecurities, your fears, and most importantly, your nightmares. And thus, this brings me on to the point I was talking about earlier, the lady. She is a victim of the Mirror Man. This perspective forces you to change how you perceive the lady. On the surface, of course, she just cares about her looks, but what if it's something more? What if, like the Humpback Girl, the lady's appearance is changing, and not from her creation, but that of the Mirror Man? With this in mind, it makes a lot more sense as to why the lady is so fixated on her face. For instance, why she was so trapped into looking at herself in the mirror when the runaway kid could see her. In that instance, the Mirror Man was controlling her perspective of herself. I've always found it super interesting and a real interesting bit of detail how the design of the mirror from the DLC has always been somewhat similar to the mirrors in the comics, and then also the mirror in the Little Nightmares 3 trailer. With everything in the nowhere, surely this isn't a coincidence. But with that in mind, it actually kind of explains something even further, something we've always wanted to know. How was the lady able to be defeated? How did Six know to use the mirror to defeat her? And how, again, did she know it would work? But with all the information we currently have, we can answer these questions. Six knew about the mirror and what it contained from the Humpback Girl, from the campfire stories, and in turn she had been told where it was. She knew not of the monster inside the mirrors, but only that he was powerful enough and could trap anyone with an illusion so strong and disturbing you couldn't look away from it. This is why I think the lady has a mask, and this is to protect her from the Mirror Man. Something worth noting too is that the emission effect that is expelled from the mirror when it reflects the lady is similar to that of the Humpback Girl's eyes in the comics. There's that soft blue sort of fused light, so there's a connection there, and again, it's intentional. I like to think in that instance the Mirror Man is changing the lady's appearance, and so the lady avoids the same fate as the Humpback Girl, but by not losing to the Mirror Man, but by giving herself to Six after their fight. Doesn't that kind of alarm you? The lady would rather give up her position, her powers, to Six, rather than concede to the Mirror Man. We know many residents are running in the background of the nowhere, but who knew they were turning on each other too, and fighting for each other's powers, or life, or a way to escape the nowhere? But something even more daunting about this is that not only did we find out who has been the next victim of the Mirror Man, the lady, we also know who he plans on targeting next. And that's Six. And this is how I think we could see Six in Little Nightmares 3. Put it this way, the Mirror Man has been after the lady's power for the longest of time, but the lady being in control benefits the Mirror Man for the time being. Once Six takes the power from the lady, that changes. This is where Six becomes a target of the Mirror Man. And what I think might happen is while Lo and Alone are exploring in Little Nightmares 3 and, having some adventures and having conflict with the Mirror Man, I think we might see Six having also a conflict with him too. Again, we don't know fully the details, but I would like to think that somewhere within the chaos of the nowhere, there is more than one fight happening between the characters that we know. Again, Six versus the Mirror Man, Lo and Alone versus the Mirror Man, and I think it would make for such a poetic ending to have that kind of linkage to Little Nightmares 3. Again, not 100%, but it is an interesting thought to have. But with that being said, let me know what you think of this little theory video in the comments below, and of course if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel, and if you would like to see more Little Nightmares theories, you will definitely get notified when I upload them. Because of course, Little Nightmares 3 is around the corner soon, and there will be lots of content to talk about. But of course, with that being said, have a lovely morning, day or night, wherever you are in the world, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next Little Nightmares theory video. Bye!